Hello, everyone. Welcome to IT Tech Talk. I'm your host, Joel Ward. This is the show where I interview entrepreneurs, influencers, CEOs, and business leaders. Today on my show is Pratik. Pratik is the founder of Testlify, INSIDEA, and Webzoly. Pratik, how are you doing today?
I'm doing amazingly awesome. Thank you for having me, man.
Oh,
Such a
no problem. The
pleasure.
honor's mine. I know yesterday we tried to get you on. We had a little confusion about schedules, but I'm glad today. I know it's for those listening, this is going to be confusing. Today's Saturday. I'm going to be airing this Saturday or Sunday. I know it's confusing. I never air episodes on those days, but Pratik was a guest I really wanted to get on for the last few weeks. We've had a couple of scheduling problems, and today he is on. Pratik, let's talk about what you do. So give me an insight. What is INSIDEA, Testlify, and Webzoly? Give me a little background about these companies.
So let me give you background about my career overall. That will cover everything that what I do. So firstly, I'm born and brought up in India, Mumbai, and I'm based out of Israel. I moved here like 9 years ago. As you mentioned to me yesterday that you're wearing multiple hats. As an entrepreneur, I always look for new hustle or new challenges. So yeah, I'm part of multiple companies, including three of my own, and there are a few companies that I'm associated with as a brand ambassador and an advisor. Now, what is my expertise? I'm basically helping companies with outsourcing. So Webzoly was founded, it was my first company that I worked on. It's been almost 6, 7 years in the business. So we started with a marketing agency, and then I saw like a big demand of hiring virtual talent. So I started with one niche in sales development, then SEO, then uh, web development, app development, graphic design, video editing, whatever you name it, we have it. So if you can do the job remotely, we can get you the talent you're looking for in next 48 hours. And if we have something like available immediately, we can start like in 1 hour. So that's the kind of experience that we want to give clients on in terms of like saving a lot of employee costs when you hire somebody. And again, like hiring, firing, managing, everything is an expense, and we make sure that we almost reduce it up to 70%. So this is what we do at Webzoly. INSIDEA is again into outsourcing, but we are kind of building that as a remote marketplace. So Webzoly is a service-based company, but Web INSIDEA will be more of self-serve automated marketplace where you can hire talent remotely. And we are still in very early stage in terms of making the platform. But yes, this is going to be like in reality in next few months. Now about Testlify. So Testlify is one of my favorite products that we have built in last 1.5 year. It again came out of as a problem. So as you know that I'm into outsourcing, so I have to hire a lot, right? And hiring comes with a challenge of like screening those resumes, then like evaluating those candidates whether that person is right for that skills or not. So this challenge led us build this product where we can assess the talent in scale, so that we can find the right file and for the companies that are working with us. So we build a product for us in-house, and then eventually it was so helpful, we opened it to the market as a better product. We shared it with like 100 companies to try it out. People loved it, and we are like in market almost 4 or 5 months with the pricing plan. And if you look it on G2, we are top rated products. with 4.9 rating. So we are kind of like growing pretty fast in terms of like, brand as in the talent assessment space.
That's awesome. No, there as I get to know more and more entrepreneurs, I get to know their products, their what they do, and yours is very unique. I'm looking at your bio, and you start as a young kid selling firecrackers to owning 3 companies and doing lots of brand ambassading. Would you care to talk about that? Going from a kid in India selling firecrackers to a CEO and founder of companies.
It's all about like what mindset you have at the end
Hmm.
of the day. Some people are okay with doing like 9 to 5, get a paycheck, and like live a decent living, and that is fine. But some wants to like do multiple things and solve some problems in the society, and maybe make more money. That is kind of an ultimate goal, like in terms of career. So yes, side hustle or like being kind of into a business world was one of my passion while I was growing up. I didn't like playing games. My real game was like business, of making money. So I
I
was
think we're the one
inspired.
and the same. That was kind of like my thing. I watched my dad build his business, and I was like, that's all I want to do is have a business. So I think you and me have the same
ex-
mindset because we drove for business, and we wanted that, and we both seem to achieve it. You seem to have a larger scale. You have employees and stuff. I just kind of on the small scale just work for myself. So sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that is so cool because like that was my mindset growing up. I was like, I saw people around me building businesses, and I was like, I want to do that. So.
You are absolutely right. The number one inspiration for me in my life has been and will be ever is my father, because
Mhm.
he is into business. And I saw him like working hard for like, building his business when I was growing up. So he always inspired me and always like, had me like, small teachings every day with
Yeah,
some specific aspects. So this is something that your mentor can give you. So for me, my father was my mentor and still is. So yeah,
that's
you
pretty
we are.
awesome.
It's relatable when you mentioned to me yesterday that you're working with your father's business as well,
Mhm.
and helping him. So absolutely, there is always learning from the legends, the
So
true legends in our life, I would
yeah.
say.
Well, and you watch, and I'm sure you know this, like you watch. I'm 31. I've watched my dad in the 31 years build his business, and grow. We went from a small, I would say, I think it was like 200 square foot building to now a 33,000 square foot facility where
Wow.
where we literally have international clients, and it's insane. And you look at that and you say, what he's doing, what my dad's doing is something I want to achieve. And, I'm on a smaller scale. I have this podcast, and the podcast, we have global partners and stuff, and it's growing every day. And I'm getting tons of views online, and reviews are coming in, and people are saying it's a 5-star show. Like, I love listening to it. And, I'm getting all that feedback. And, and I've written a couple books, and I built 2 businesses, and I got the podcast, which is now kind of like a media corporation. And I do a lot of online stuff. It's pretty insane, going from watching my dad to like doing my own stuff. And I'm sure you can relate to that. I want to talk real quick about what made you do the big jump from moving from India to Tel Aviv, though. Like what, you worked alongside your father, I'm sure, and you probably, I know India has a good tech boom. What made you move from India to Tel Aviv, or Israel in general?
So, firstly, Israel was my destiny. When I say destiny, I met my wife when I was 16 in my high school, and since then we were together. After 3 years of dating, I figured out that she's Jewish. Her name is Nancy, so I thought she might be Christian. But I really didn't knew what was Jewish, and I really didn't knew like Israel, like country, existed that time. So my geography was bad, I guess. um, uh, in that way, like I started learning more about Israel, Jewish people, and in our 20s, in our early 20s, my wife is working in Al Airlines, which was like a Jewish airline, Israeli Airlines. She was working in Mumbai, and she used to travel a lot to like Tel Aviv for her work. and she inspired me, like, we should like seek opportunity in Israel to grow our careers. She knew that I was more into entrepreneurship, startups, and everything. She said that, like, it will be best if we can, like, build our careers in Israel. That made me think, and like, when I think 10 years ago, there were not a lot of remote jobs opportunities and stuff available. So yet I had to, like, still go outside India, leaving my hometown, my family, my friends. And I moved to Israel. So this destiny was challenging in the beginning. First 2 3 years were like, I wanted to give up, but beginnings are always difficult in whatever things you do in life, whether it be your business, whether it be new country, maybe your new relationship. So it was tough for me, but I found my way. My wife, like, I always feel that without her I would be nothing. They say that, behind every successful man there's a woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found another woman. I already have one woman, which is my mother, who inspires me always, and I found my wife then. So I have two superpowers with me. So yeah, that's how I made my journey to Israel, and I'm loving it so far. But when I say, like, I had to come to Israel, leaving my
Uh-huh.
hometown, my family, that is the one thing that drives me towards remote working and outsourcing, because I don't want people to leave their hometown, their loved ones, for career growth. I have to leave my place, but they can. Now they have a laptop, internet connection. They can work for any country or any company in the world. So this is what I'm trying to connect.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's awesome. So
yeah.
I want to talk about Tel Aviv and Israel in general. So I don't know much about the country. So what's the tech boom like over there? Is there like a Silicon Valley in Israel? Is that what you kind of work for?
Yeah, it's a Silicon Valley of Middle East. That's what I call it as. And it's pretty fascinating and exciting adventure. If you see startups around here, I've seen through my eyes. They started as a startup with one customer, two employees, founders, and they
Yeah.
are now unicorns. And this is reality. It's happening in Israel. Every day there is new unicorn. Every day somebody's listing on Nasdaq. So it's like kind of Silicon Valley feel. It's work hard, play hard culture. So absolutely love it. They're building products which are actually required in the world. So through technology, Israel is taking over a lot of startup space these days, I feel.
So this is a little off topic, but did I just see that Intel has a plant out there now where they're
Yeah.
building microchips and stuff in Tel Aviv or close to it?
So Intel has definitely multiple headquarters. They have built their one of the chips I remember was developed in Israel,
Okay.
and they have 3 big headquarters, like in terms of corporate houses in Beersheba, I think. So somewhere like in the center there is one, and there's one in the south.
So there really is a
Um,
lot of tech coming to Israel.
so most of the R&D is done in Israel for Intel.
Okay.
And not just Intel, there are companies like Google, Intel, then, like, any big brands you can name of. We have Wipro, no, sorry, TCS, which is like an Indian company,
Okay.
also here in Israel, consulting firms. Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating. You think it's like people are like, oh, Israel's the middle of the desert, but I have a friend. And we talked about this yesterday. She lives out there. She's back home right now, but whenever she talks about she takes pictures and stuff. It's like it doesn't look like a desert. There's so much life to Israel. There's so many the people, the passion, the area. Like I told you yesterday, that's one of my top destinations to visit. Is this There's so much to do and so much to see, and just knowing that there's like in the middle of basically a sprawling city. There's like big tech startups coming out there and working, and then there's big like already startup tech out there. It's pretty fascinating. I want to jump another direction. Talking about your childhood again. You talked about this in watching your dad. And what made you want to start like a firecracker business? Why was it firecrackers to pickles to a stock analyst? Like what made you jump those major routes? What was the start of that?
So again, I understood like if you want to sell something or do business in something, you need a good product to trade to or market to. So India has like festival of Diwali. Okay, in Diwali, it's like a lot of people they use firecrackers, right? During Diwali festival. It's like Chinese New Year where you see a lot of firecrackers, but it's like 10 times bigger than like Chinese New Year. It's huge in India. So people were doing like normal firecrackers, and I came up with an idea of having fancy firecrackers, which are not regular, which are slightly more expensive, but something unique. So I knew a place where I can find those firecrackers in wholesale. So I asked my father he can like come with me and help me get those firecrackers. So literally that was my first business. I didn't have like money to put like on the stall and stuff or rent a stall or something. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with carrom board. It's a game. So it's like in wood that if you put it on the stool, it's like a table.
Okay.
So that was my first business. Now that was a seasonal business, it's not regular. So I had to think of like any other business idea, which is like something in demand that people use it every day,
Mm-hmm.
where I can have recurring customers. So I went on doing pickles business because India is Indian people love pickles, and they are they consume it every day. So I thought like if I can sell those pickles, I can have a recurring customer. So
Did
that's
you did
how.
you grow the pickles yourself?
No. So again, because my father is into spices business,
Uh-huh.
he has connections in all of this industries
Okay.
and business. So he helped me make connections, and I used to take I was in kind of a trader where I used to buy from the wholesale company and like sell it to the consumers directly.
Okay. So let's talk another direction. You're an Israeli tech ambassador to India. What does that mean?
That's a really good question. So it's an unofficial title that like people started calling me in like one of the news or PR article. It was published, and I loved it when they said this. Because actually Israel is a controversial place. In terms of like politics,
Mm-hmm.
religion, I don't know. There are a lot of things going on. I don't want to discuss that part, but I when I came here, I saw that there is a technology that can help India with a lot of different things
Mm-hmm.
in terms of agriculture specifically.
Okay.
So there were a lot of connections that I was making, Israeli tech companies and Indian farmers or like head of certain states. So I made those connections that helped Israeli companies grow in India
Mm-hmm.
through the connection that I've helping them to build. So that's how this name came in. So it's not just related to agriculture. Now I'm uh, almost cybersecurity, e-commerce,
Okay.
ad tech, cloud tech, everything that you can name off that I have been making connections with the decision makers in India and companies here in Israel. So yeah, it's win win win. It's win for me, win for them, win for India.
So
Uh,
it looks like here, I'm reading it, you have over 250 followers. It's probably grown since then on LinkedIn and over 200 million views on your posts.
Yeah.
What draws people to you? Is it your ability to reach out and reach the common person on issues of tech and all the stuff that you were just talked about, like with India and Israel, but like joining the two together?
So journey of LinkedIn has been like, quite roller coaster and learning experience. And I pivoted based on like what I was learning.
Hmm.
Now, I started posting on LinkedIn because I was into marketing. I started doing like marketing related posts, which can be like more useful to the audience, but it was not carrying much reach because it was very narrow audience, like very small niche that I was targeting to. What I wanted to do is like, reach to the broader audience. I thought like, maybe what is my unique standpoint here? I'm an Indian in
Hmm.
Israel. I can promote Israeli technology to the world. Then I started posting content on Israeli tech, and I started to see my account grow. The post started to reach more and more people. Now I said like, still I feel the audience is still narrow. I feel I want to broaden it up more. Then I went to like HR space. I saw that a lot of people who come to LinkedIn are people who are looking for jobs. Okay, mostly.
Yeah.
So networking is okay, but people come to LinkedIn 60-70% of the time. 2-3 years ago, they were specifically for jobs. What kind of content that I can create so that people will follow me, people will engage with my post, and it should go viral and it will be helpful to them.
Hmm.
Now, creating viral content requires two aspects. One should be relatable. Okay.
Hmm. Yeah.
Second, it should be like, touching any emotions of there. I don't know. So I was creating content which was like more of a storytelling
Yeah. Yeah.
in a textual format, and it was like, really getting a lot of views and engagement. And yeah, that's how I actually started my LinkedIn journey. So I remember of also having a lot of LinkedIn masterclass. So LinkedIn was still like, 3 years back, still people were not using LinkedIn for marketing or networking, I would specifically say. So to inspire people on how to use LinkedIn, how to optimize their profile, how to post consistently, how to grow on LinkedIn, I
Hmm.
was doing LinkedIn masterclass. I think I did a free masterclass for over 50,000 people in total.
Nice.
And that way, I was able to build a lot of uh, following initially.
So I want to go to your companies for a few seconds. We have a few minutes left in the show. Where do you see the growth in the next 5 to 10 years? What do you see? What's the goals? Where do you want the companies to go with Testlify, INSIDEA, and Webzoly? What do you want the goals to be, the growth to be?
So basically, I want to impact over 100,000 jobs in next 5 years in global level,
Okay.
helping 100,000 people find remote jobs in the world. This is my mission that I'm on. There are so many amazing talent in India selling themselves short to Indian employers.
Hmm.
They can definitely make higher income through their services. And again, people in US or companies in US can hire them at like less than 50% or 70% of the cost. And it's a win-win situation for both ends. In that way, they will like, a lot of companies have now asking employees to come back to office. Apple, Twitter, a lot of companies, they
Hmm.
want their employees to be back in the office. Also, a lot of companies in India are asking that. Now, people don't want to. People are more comfortable now working remotely or maximum hybrid work model. Now, hybrid work model is like, going to office twice a
Yeah.
week, maybe. So if this is the case, then definitely, candidate side or talent side, the demand is like remote. They want convenience, flexibility, and comfort of working from their own workspace or workstation. In order for us to create that win-win situation, and save a lot of cost along the way. It's
Hmm.
the remote work culture that we need to promote. So that's what I think is the future of work in next 5 years. We are going to, like, have INSIDEA build that remote marketplace. So currently there is no full-time work marketplace available in the market.
Okay.
Okay, you can hire a freelancer through other platforms, but you cannot hire a full-time employee from the same platform and pay to the same platform. There are, like, you have to mix and match in order to do this.
So
So
is your platform different than Fiverr?
So Fiverr is a gig, so it's one-time gig. You hire somebody for a specific service.
Okay.
Let's say you want to write a content, you pay him like $50 and he will write you a piece of blog, and that's it. So he's not your employee. So let's say you're running a business, you want somebody dedicated to your business, like a
Hmm.
full-time employee. So this is not available on Fiverr because they are working with multiple businesses. You are not just their only focus. You understand the
Yeah.
difference? So let's say I'm in India or I'm in Israel, I'm going to like a company XYZ for a full-time employment. I'm not working on a side hustle. It's like, dedicated employment. So
Yeah.
that's what we are trying to create remotely.
That's awesome. Now, see, and that was one of the questions I wanted to ask, is because I was wondering, is like, is that something that Fiverr does? But no, Fiverr is a one shot, one go. You do the job, you're done. Whereas
Yeah.
you're trying to make it like they're hiring you for the job and you're gonna be their employee. I think that's really cool.
It's
And
it's more sustainable from both ends. They can rely on a talent. He
mhm,
will be committed to the business and helping you grow. Also, it's a safety for a person who's working for you, that he knows that he's going to get paid end of the month. Being a freelancer, it's a risk of finding a business or not, right?
yeah.
Because sometimes the business will be high, sometimes it will be low. It's a risk. They have a certain bills to pay at the end of the month. So we want to create that stability for everyone. Yeah.
So, I see here it's like Testlify has AI and deep analytics and stuff. Talk about that for a few minutes. We have like I think 4 or 5 minutes left. Talk about the AI and the deep learning that you use to make Testlify what it is.
Imagine, like, when you are hiring for some role, you're basically doing a guesswork. Okay, you
Yeah.
are like checking a CV, which is like almost 40 to 50% time with not correct information, incorrect information based on the data that is available online.
Uh-huh.
So you're interviewing that person. If you like that person's personality, you might go with him. Okay, so you're making just decision based on your personal feelings and very less on terms of, like, skill assessment. Like,
Hmm.
you need to assess whether that person knows these things or not.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
let's say you are interviewing 50 people for one position. So let's say you are a company and you're looking for very critical low role in, like, full stack developer. It's a very important role that company wants to hire. You have 50 resumes. How would you know that out of this 50 good candidates, who is the best one for your company? So Testlify almost predicts who to hire. He will tell you he scored the best marks in full stack development exam, combination with the psychometric test, which is required
Hmm.
for your business in terms of like communication skills that he will bring to the table, remote working ability. So we can package that assessment and create that kind of assessment for the candidate, so you can find that number one person that you want to hire.
Awesome. Well, Pratik, we just hit our time. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Uh, for
Absolutely.
those for those listening, this will be airing on Saturday or Sunday. So, for those wanting to get access to Pratik's information, such as his LinkedIn or ways to reach him or his companies, or just get an information, you can find all of that on our new website at www.ittechtalkpodcast.com, and you can find all the info, his bio, the show, where all the notes and stuff we took during the show. Everything will be right there on there. I'm really happy that a lot of people are finding that information and finding it useful, to be able to contact and reach out to people and be like, hey, I'm interested in your services or something, and being able to use that information. Pratik, thank you so much. It's been such an honor having you on the show.
Absolutely, Joel. Thank you for your time. It's very nice to be part of such initiative that you took. It not just inspires people; it adds value to a lot of people who wants to learn, who wants to start a business. So yeah, keep up the good work, man. If you need something else, I will be happy to help.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been awesome having you on. Thanks again.
Thanks, Joel.